Every company needs that talented person who can be the voice of the client, the person who has walked in the user's shoes and lived with their challenges. Scott LaFleur is the animation creator personified. Scott told us about his experience as an animator and his priorities at Nimble Collective. Hi, Jim Connor. We're back here again at Nimble Collective. I'm with Scott LaFleur, who is the head of platform at Nimble Collective. Scott, thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
So, it's a very interesting company, animation, artists, dynamic stuff that you guys are all doing. How would you describe this company? The mission of Nimble Collective is?
I would say the mission of Nimble Collective is kind of what our tagline is, to help the animation community to create, collaborate, and prosper. And what we mean by that is we're trying to drop the barriers to entry. So we see a lot of technological barriers. Traditionally, the animation pipeline is really complex. There's a lot of different applications out there, a lot of different file formats that all have to work together seamlessly to produce final images at the end. And for somebody to try and do that on their own, even as professionals when we were working in a studio, we couldn't do it on our own. We needed the studio infrastructure. And so we kind of want to democratize that process so that everyone has access to it.
What do you think is going to happen then? I mean, we're going to see a segment of our society that was basically could not get started. Many of them will get started. Some of them will do well. Some of them do very well. Do you think you'll see this rise up of engagement from the creative community?
I really, really believe that. I believe that what is hindering a lot of people are these barriers to entry. So whether it's money or technology infrastructure or just access to the computing power that we have available in the cloud, I think we're going to see a huge surge of people that are just empowered to create and tell stories. What
I've heard mostly is that if a person has an idea, they should come here, and then the company will supply the additional people they need, I should say, to tell the story and give the person infrastructure. It sounds like that maybe if I'm a great scriptwriter or a good scriptwriter, want to be a great scriptwriter, I should get engaged here because I'm going to get some work writing scripts for people who have story ideas. Is that a valid statement?
Yeah, I think that that's very valid, and it's absolutely in the vision of where we want the platform to go. We want this platform to unify people from all different walks of art, so that we have people who do sound, audio compositions, people who write scripts and have ideas for stories, to be able to get hooked up with artists that can actually realize that vision. That's part of what we're doing right now with people, is really trying to empower people. And even if we're hand rolling it because the platform's not ready, it's part of our DNA, it's part of our mission to make sure that everybody gets connected with what they need to create really beautiful animation and artwork.
And then you're going to host some of this where it's available to be shown, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's absolutely.
What are some of the genres that we might look for in the future? I mean, as we go out, you're just launching the platform next couple months here. Is there going to be a genre of cartoons, a genre of life stories, shall we say, or maybe even fables, or that are stories about our value system in parts of the world?
Yeah, I think that something that's very interesting, and it's an interesting point that you bring up, is that animation is not a genre, it's a medium, right? And in this country in particular, animation has, for the way that the majority of the population perceives it, is it's a children's genre. But if you look at other cultures, like Japan, for example, there's a whole anime culture which is very adult oriented. And I think that what people are going to see, and kind of like what we saw with YouTube and a lot of online distribution channels of live action stuff, is the format, the genre, all that kind of stuff breaks down, and really it's just about people being able to express themselves, people being able to tell a story. No matter what form that story takes on, it's going to be something that comes from them. It's going to be something that's really meaningful and hopefully connect with a ton of different people who are interested in watching it. So I think as far as there should be a ton of different genres that come out from this. We could see the reintroduction of something like the Sunday morning comic, where it's just a short little clip that somebody's created, and it's an animated comic, right? And it's posted somewhere, hosted somewhere, where it's just a short little bite-sized piece of humor or a short little bite-sized piece of a story that you're consuming here and there, to full-on TV shows or 22-minute or even hour or maybe even feature film in the future. It's going to be anything in between.
I can see now you might actually create not just a film, but you might create a series that's an ongoing set of stories, each weekly series or whatever, that really tells a broader story over a period of time, maybe even several seasons for that matter. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and we want that. We absolutely want people to come with an idea, right? With a character even. and just creating content around that character. And we see people do it, like, for example, again on YouTube, where people have a video blog where it's just them, and they just talk about different things that happen in their life, and people love it, right?
So you are an animator first and foremost. Is that correct? You started out your career. How many years have you spent being an animator?
Nearly a decade.
Nearly a decade, yeah. Did you go to school for that? I mean, a little bit about your history.
Yeah, I went to San Jose State, and I went through the animation illustration program there. And then I got hired from there into DreamWorks, and that's where I met Rex. He hired me there. And so I spent my animation career there. And then, you know, one day we had this idea, and you know, we decided that it was a good one.
Let me use you as an example. So you went to San Jose State, which I love San Jose State. It's a great school.
Yeah.
Then you get hired by DreamWorks right out of San Jose State. What if you didn't get hired? Would you, if this platform existed here at Nimble Collective, could you have engaged with it?
That's a really, really great question, and it leads into why we created this. Is all through San Jose State, I would have died for a platform like this. It would have been, and even afterwards, being in a professional situation, seeing the empowerment that a infrastructure gives you, the technology and software infrastructure gives you, along with artists to work with, it was so empowering to be able to create stuff. It's interesting to talk to people about the CG animation process, because so much of the difficulty is you just never see. For the platform specifically, I'm trying to maintain the vision, and really that just means I'm trying to always live in the user's perspective. Okay. So I'm trying to represent the people that are going to interact with it, and just make sure that it's going to be solving real problems and satisfying needs.
Scott, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely.
It was great.